here for our cookalong. Now, we're just going to wait for you that joined us last week. You know that we had a little technical hitch. So we're just going to wait till we get a thumbs up from the office to say, yay, everything's good. Or feel free to comment so that we know that we've got it right today. So thank you so much for all of you coming back and joining us again. I'm really excited, and I'm so glad to see all of your comments about how much you enjoyed it and the tips and hints that you received out of last week's cook-along as well. Again, we profusely apologise for the fact that it was sideways, but we have fixed it, so you can watch it the right way to watch it back, which is really great as well. Okay, so we're just waiting for us to make sure that we are definitely up the right way, because that would be awfully embarrassing to do it 2 weeks in a row. Okay, so we'll just give everyone a minute or so to make sure we're getting some thumbs up, which is great. Okay, so we must be good. Okay, beautiful. So tonight we are going to be making our beef stroganoff, a beef stroganoff that I've made a lot of times, that I really love in our Cook Expert. So I'm going to go through that. And we're also going to do a little bit on the food processor as well, because the food processor comes with your machine when you get your delivery. And we again want to make sure that you're using it and give you some really great tips on how to make sure that you're using it properly and actually getting it out of the cupboard, because you don't need to own these sorts of products and then not be able to actually use them or know how to actually use them. So we're going to get started. So I think we're just a couple of minutes after 6 now. So I think all those last minuters jumping on madly trying to get ready. Again, you know, we're going to make sure that we've got everything right tonight, so we hope that we can continue doing these for you as well. Okay, so as I said, we're going to do tonight the beef stroganoff in our Cook Expert. So let's get started with that. So we're going to start, as we normally do, by dicing up our onion. Now, some of the feedback we got last week too is that you want to be able to see inside the bowl once we've done things, so we'll make sure that we do that as well. So thank you so much for your feedback. And keep giving us that feedback, because we're only going to make this better for you if you let us know what you want to see. Okay, so I've got my onion here that I've just quartered. So I'm just going to pop that in to our expert. I'm going to pop my lid on. Oh, there it is. Okay, and we're just going to run that on our expert function. And we're just going to run that for about 15 to 20 seconds. So we can see that. Oh. And we're going to run that on about speed 13. Okay, we don't need heat for this either. Okay, so we'll just chop that up. Once we've diced that, we'll show you how it comes out as well. Come and have a look. So all we then just need to do is scrape down the side. So you can see that that's really beautifully diced up our onion, so that we don't need to worry about the crying factor, which normally happens when we dice our onion with our chopping mat and our chopping board. Knife and chopping mat. Okay, so then we're just going to add to that some butter, because what we want to do, and that's just our 30 grams of butter, because what we want to do is to be able to now sort of brown that off a little bit, just to saute that, because we don't like the taste of raw onion when we're cooking. So we want to just fry that up just a little bit. So I hope you're all keeping up with me. I do tend to talk fast, so I'm trying really hard not to do that to you. Okay, so this time we're going to put this on for a couple of minutes, so 2 minutes. And we do need to drop the speed. So the speed, we're just going to drop that down to 3. And then this time we are going to use the heat function, which we're going to set at 100 degrees. So the great thing with our Cook Expert is it is induction heated, which basically means that we can get it to the temperature to the actual degree, and also it heats very quickly. So you'll see here, now I want you to take the top off for this as well, and the top will just sit beautifully into the side there. But you'll notice how quickly this will actually start to actually steam off as we're going to cook this. So we're going to start that now. and we'll show you what how that is in just a moment. So let me just get rid of that. Okay, so the steak, you can see that I've just sliced it up into nice, strips for our stroganoff, so that's nice and easy. Mushrooms you can either just halve or quarter, depending on the size of your mushrooms as well. But I've just sort of some are quartered, some are halved, depending on the size of them as well. But you can actually see that now, if you come in and you have a look here with our steam, within seconds it's already started steaming, so it's a really great indication that that induction is heating up really quickly, which means that those onions are then cooking really quickly as well, which is great. Okay, so that's just going to cook along there. So with our stroganoff, we've got, I mentioned our beef and our mushrooms. We're also going to add some white wine. We're going to add our water. I've also got our veggie stock. So I mentioned, if anyone that was watching last week, that I do make my own veggie stock. So I actually do puree the vegetables with the salt. There's some really great recipes out there for the veggie stock. But what I actually do with my veggie stock is I do freeze it. It does last a lot longer. So it doesn't freeze completely. It's a bit like ice cream. So it's really easy to get out. And it just means that if I pop it into the freezer, it just lasts that little bit longer. Even though the salt content is very high, it will eventually start to go off, and we obviously don't want to do that. So really great way to be able to pop your stock. So today I did a vegetable soup, and I actually used that as my stock instead of using what I used to use, which is just a powdered beef stock. So it gives it that beautiful flavour as well. And you know what's in there and where it's come from. Okay, so we're just about on time there with our onion. I'm going to pop that back on the top and take off our cover. And again, if you come and have a look at that, you can actually see, and the steam that it's beautifully sauteed in there for us with our butter, and then ready for all of our other ingredients. Okay, so we're going to pop in our beef. So that's about 500 grams of beef that we've prepared and have chopped up there. Okay, perfect. I am then going to add mushrooms. Now, I do love mushrooms, so I might have gone slightly over the 120 gram recommendation, but that's only because I really like them. So my children screw their noses up, but they can just pick them out, put them on my plate. Okay, so that's our mushrooms we've popped in there as well. Now we've also got our 100 mils of wine. I mentioned last week, you need to make sure that you're not saving wine that you don't like the taste of for cooking. So if you don't like the taste of it, don't cook with it, because it actually will not be fabulous, and you'll actually, it'll come through in your cooking as well. We're going to add some of our 100 mils of water, and then also then our veggie stock that I mentioned that I prepared earlier. Okay, then we've got some tomato paste, and what I love about this dish is I'm just popping everything in there. So the only other step I needed was the onions and the butter for it to saute. So then we're going to pop in our sour cream. It's about 120 grams of sour cream. Don't you just love the spatula? It gets everything out. Okay, and then we've got our dry ingredients. So I've got here some cornflour. I've got paprika, cayenne pepper, and a little bit of salt. And I'm going to pop that over the top as well. Beautiful. Okay, now, if you want to come and have a little look at that, you can see that it's all ready and beautiful, but I'm not going to stir that in, okay? So I'm going to let the machine then do this for me. Oh, one more thing. So this is why I lay all of my ingredients out so I remember. And that's just a little teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Perfect. Okay, so we've got that. I'm not going to stir that. You saw what it looks like, and voila, in not long at all, it will be absolutely fabulous. So what I want to do now, and this is really important that you make sure you do this. So I've done a lot of meals in here, trial and error about the speed and how fast I want to stir things, and it really is important that you get it right. we don't want to turn our beef stroganoff into beef stroganoff mince. We want to actually make sure that it stays nice and together with our mushrooms and our beef. So what I do is I pop it on for 20 minutes and then I pop it down to speed 1A. So basically 1A is an alternate speed, so it's going to stir it occasionally for us. We don't want it to be constantly stirred, because if it's constantly stirred, it eventually will break up on you, which is what we don't want. So we need to make sure we set it to 1A, and then we're going to leave it at 100 degrees. Okay, and we're going to start that process. So if you want to come back and have a look, I don't know whether you can see through the condensation, but when that starts, so it's stopped now, and it's about every 30 seconds that it's going to start stirring again for you. So hopefully you can see enough in there. It'll be the longest 30 seconds of my life. Okay, must be close to that 30 seconds, but you can see then how it's mixing it really well for you. So when we first put that on, all the dry ingredients were sitting on the top, but it's starting to stir up beautifully now. Okay. Let's stir. Okay. Stir. Really like convincing television right now, isn't it? You must be really enthralled by watching this, but it'll do it as soon as you move away, so make sure that you stay here. And just so that I can make sure that you can understand what I'm trying to do with this. So basically it's like you coming in and stirring it occasionally, rather than it just constantly stirring, because you don't need something like this constantly stirring, okay? So it must be just about ready to stir again. Must be 2A that's every 30 seconds, 1A is every minute or so. So it's going to stir again. Oh, you can actually hear the change in the temperature and in the heating as well. Okay. Okay, it'll stir in a minute. Okay, so while you're waiting for that to stir, let me just get rid of all of this for you. Okay, so you can see that stirring now. So it's every couple of minutes that it's going to stir for you. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take you through and do some things with the food processor. So one of the things, as I mentioned earlier, is quite often we buy all these fantastic products and we're not using them properly. So we wanted to make sure that you are actually using the products that you have purchased. So I might actually move this in a little bit now that I've got lots and lots of space. And I absolutely love being organised. So I like to have things done on a Sunday. So I do a lot of cooking on a Sunday for the week. And what I also do is a lot of prep work. So if I know, you know, generally we all will eat, you know, salad sandwiches or wraps or things for lunch. So I like to have my carrot grated, my cheese grated, my cucumbers sliced and everything ready to go. And also those nights that you do wraps for dinner or nachos or, you know, tacos, those sorts of things, to have your carrot, to have your cheese, all those sorts of things grated and ready to go is a really great way to get prepped and ready for the week. So I wanted to show you what I do, and hopefully if you're not using this, you will start using it. It is so easy to clean as well, which we love, so we want to make sure that we are using these sorts of products. So I'm going to do the carrot first, and I'm going to use this blade here, which is just the coarser of the two that we have an option for. And all we do is we're just going to connect that on, and then we're going to pop that into our machine. So what that does, as you can see, it's then sitting up higher than the actual bowl. So when we then put on the top, it actually is right at the top ready for our grating of our carrots and things. So we've got it set for food processor. So you can see that down the front there, we've got that on the food processor ready to go. And that's all we basically need when we're using this attachment. Okay, so you don't need any other one of our icons on here, you just want food processor. Okay, so we've got a beautiful wide top, or you can actually use the smaller top, your hole to put your food in. So depending on what it is that you're putting in there, it just gives you the ability to actually change around the size of your product as well. So all we're going to do is pop this on. I'm going to pop in my carrots like that. But you can see how quickly this will do 2 carrots, which will do a whole lot of wraps and sandwiches and things. So we're going to pop that on. And that's 2 carrots done. Okay, so just to give you an idea of the amount of then carrot we've actually just grated in 2 carrots, I'm just going to then pop that out and pop that into our container. And you can see what a fantastic job that actually will do though, nice and quickly, evenly chopped up for you, and seconds, absolutely in seconds. So great way to get all that, like I said, all that food prep and things done during the week. So I'll just give that a really quick rinse. Just a really quick wipe. But you can see I can keep going with this. So if I was doing my cucumbers and slicing tomatoes and things, I probably wouldn't bother rinsing it in between. But I am going to do cheese, so I do think it just needs that little bit of a rinse. And I'll just at the top, a little quick rinse. Now, wait till I pop that. Okay, so when you're doing anything that involves things like carrot or beetroot or any of those sort of vegetables that do have a lot of colour in it, make sure that you clean your products quite, quickly. Don't let them laying around for hours and hours. You want to make sure that you rinse those things quickly because you don't want anything to stain orange on you because you've left your carrot or your beetroot or something in there for too long. Okay, so now we're going to do the cheese. So I'm just going to swap blades just because I wanted to show you the different options that we have. So we'll put that one down there. And with this one here, we're going to do it a little bit finer. Okay, so this is then for our cheese. Now, one of my big things is buying already grated cheese. So if you're buying already grated cheese, you're actually buying a product that has what we call anti-caking and antifungal agents added to the packet of already grated cheese. So it's actually not as fresh as doing your own cheese. So I always like to actually do my own cheese at the start of the week, and that's what we'll use during the week. So you can use it for toasties, you can use it for your sandwiches, you can use it for wraps, you can use it for the top of your lasagnas and all those sorts of things as well. But again, I wanted to show you how quickly we actually can then grate that cheese so that we can have it stored beautifully in the fridge. Now, as long as you're storing it in the fridge in some really great, airtight containers, then it will last for you for the whole week. So it's a really great thing to do. If you've got grated cheese that you've already grated and then you've got it left in the fridge and you're going on holidays, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to waste it, pop it into the freezer. So you can actually freeze already grated cheese as well. So pop it into the freezer, and that's perfect for doing the tops of your pasta bakes and those sorts of things, potato bakes, all of that. Okay, so this time we're going to do our cheese. So I've got about ½ kilo of cheese here, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. Okay, now did you see that stop just then? The reason that stopped is because I've pulled this out, which is one of our safety features. So as soon as I pop that back in, it'll actually start again once I hit order. So you see now in that, just that little bit of cheese, but that's really nice to use then on your cheese and crackers. But you'll see that half a block of cheese is grated absolutely beautifully in absolutely no time at all. So you can see how amazing that looks and how fresh that looks. And if you compared that to what you bought from the store, you'd know exactly that that was a better option for you and for your family. So that's our cheese. So isn't that amazing? I absolutely love it. Okay. So if you wanted to then slice your cucumbers and things like that, we do have our slicing discs that also come. So these discs all come with our food processor when you purchase our Cook Expert. So you get all of this in your kit ready to go. So really easy. So this is really great for slicing the tomatoes or cucumbers and all those other things that you want to be able to slice nice and quickly in preparation for having everything ready in the fridge. So we'll pop that over there, ready for the fridge and ready to go. So what I also thought we could do, now we're nearly at halfway with this, and I wonder if, I'm actually going to stop it, and I want to show you where we're at. Now the great thing, it's just decided that it's going to make some noise, so let it run with that for a moment. But the great thing is when I hit stop, it's not going to change how much time I've got left. So I just want to show you where we're at and how it's looking with our stroganoff. So if you want to just come up here and have a look. And again, smelling beautiful, but that's 10 minutes in, okay? So it's warming up beautifully, it's mixed in gorgeously, it's not dicing my mushrooms or my beef. So I'm gonna pop that back on, but like I said, you can see that it's got exactly the time left on the machine, which is my 10 minutes, which is great. So it's not gonna stop anything. So I'm just gonna turn that back on and let that keep going and doing its thing. Okay. And get rid of that. Now, I want to show you a really quick little, so you know that when you buy the machine, it comes with 3 bowls, okay? So you've got your large bowl, you've got your midi bowl, and then you've got your mini bowl as well. So I wanted to show you how to use something like our mini bowl, and the fact that I don't have to wash this up before I pop this in. So all we're going to do is pop our mini bowl into the top, like that, okay? So all I'm going to be using is the mini bowl, but you do need the large bowl down the bottom when you're actually doing that. So I'm just going to turn that so you can see that. And what I thought I'd do is show you how really, really quick and easy it is to do a pesto. So you can do lots of things in here. We've got some really great recipes with, you know, beetroot dips and sun-dried tomato pesto dips, those sorts of things. So I wanted just to show you how really simple it is to use this, which is part of our food processor. Okay, so all I'm going to do is pop in a little bit of garlic. Now I didn't give you this recipe, this is more just an opportunity to show you, how to use these products. I've got a couple of pieces of garlic. We're going to pop in, now this recipe is actually in the Cook Expert recipe book, okay, so it's not a recipe that you can't find, it is in that book, and that book you do actually receive with your Cook Expert. Then we're going to pop in our pine nuts, like so. And then we're going to pop in, now this is a full head of basil, and I've just washed it, and I've just broken the leaves off. And you can see that that entire bunch of basil has gone in to our machine absolutely beautifully. Okay, so, voila, it's in. And now we're going to pop on our top. Actually, I'll just wipe that cheese. Yeah, although a little bit of extra cheese doesn't matter, it's already got some parmesan in there. So we're going to pop that back on the top. And we're going to pop our cover on, and we're just going to process that till it starts to run through. So you see that it starts to take in, if you want to come a little bit closer, you can actually see that it's starting to burn and up. Stop that for just 1 second, but I'm now going to add, because that's, can you actually see, I want you to see how beautifully chopped that was in not very long at all. So it looks absolutely amazing, and that's just with our pine nuts, our basil, our garlic, and our parmesan cheese. I'll pop that back in, and I'll pop that back on. And now, okay, so when you can pull the middle part out and it will still run, and that allows you then to pop in anything that you need to pop in. Just going to drizzle in our oil. Create our beautiful pesto. Now let me just grab a bowl, and I'll show you how amazing this comes out of our mini bowl. Wow, it's just amazing how quickly this is actually made a pesto. If you don't have to buy pesto in a store, what a beautiful way to be able to do it yourself. And you saw how quick that was. So just those simple key ingredients I'm going to pop that in there, and this is absolutely perfect then to pop through a pasta, to do some beautiful pesto bruschetta even, so dice up some tomatoes, use this as your base. So that's our pesto. Super, super simple in a machine that you all own because of your Cook Expert. Okay, so that's that there. So we've got, how long have we got here? We've got 5 minutes, or just over 5 minutes. So hopefully you've all kept up with us and you're all on the same page. So one of the things too with our, so I mentioned that we've got our induction heating, so that we've got it to pretty much to the degree with our temperature, which is fabulous. So we know that it's sitting at 100 degrees over the time that we're cooking. We know the function where we've got our lid that actually will sit in the side. So again, we're not having to worry about it falling. And also the fact that that cap will lock on there. So when we're taking off our cover, that cap's not going to fall out on you as well. I love the fact that we've got the beautiful glass top so you can see what's going on in there with your food, which is fantastic. So there's lots of really great functions with your machines that you've got that you're using. So, you know, really know that it's a really great investment that you've all made by purchasing your Cook Expert with Magimix. Now, if you're kind of thinking, what am I going to cook to, or what am I going to have with my stroganoff? There are so many options with stroganoff. So quite often I'll do it with just a simple pasta. You can do it with some boiled fresh white rice or brown rice. You can actually do your zoodles. So zucchini noodles are a really nice thing under your stroganoff as well. Quite often I'll actually do the zoodles with zucchini and with carrot. So it gives you that veggie hit through your meal as well, which is really yummy. But another one that I quite often do with stroganoff is a beautiful mashed potato. So mashed potato is a really big hit in our house, and it's taken a little while for me to work out. When I first started using the machine, I was like, oh, it's just not quite right. What am I doing wrong? And it was so simple, and that is that you need to make sure when you're doing mashed potato that you only use dirty potatoes. So it needs to be your potatoes that have still got the dirt on them. And then when you actually peel them and pop them in, the difference in the texture between the 25 different varieties of potatoes, but the difference in using an actual dirty potato versus using something like, you know, your white potatoes or your red skinned potatoes is a huge difference as well. So really great tip if you are, you know, loving mashed potato but you just can't work it out in the machine. It's because of the type of potato that you're using. So really great little trick there to make sure that you're using the right potatoes as well. Now we've only got 3.5 minutes. It's gone really quick tonight. So we are going to have a little guessing competition. Now last week I know that we said first 5 to answer. Not everyone has the same internet speed, and it kind of didn't work for everyone. People thought that they'd won, but then they didn't because they didn't realise there were people that had commented before them. So we've decided that we're going to put all of the names of everyone in the hat that answers the question correctly. I'm not going to tell you what that question is yet, you'll have to wait. But we just thought it was a little bit fairer for everybody then to have the chance to go into the draw. We will then do that draw and we'll make sure we publish it on our Magimix Australia Facebook page so you can actually see who our winners were for tonight. So again, I always say Rose is online for you. If you have questions, we're always there. We will give you answers as quickly as we can. So if you've got any feedback, and thank you again so much for everybody for your feedback last week. I know that you all sort of had crooked heads and sore necks by the end of it, and I really do apologise. I had no idea. I was just chatting away thinking everything was great. Not quite. But yes, we did get that fixed and all up and running. So if you've got questions, if there's things you want to see, now obviously we want to try to keep our cooking demos to that 30 to 40 kind of minute mark. It's about, you know, quick, easy, simple, delicious meals for you at home during the week. And maybe down the track we can do some more complex things that might be, you know, a couple of hours cooking workshop, which is also something if you want to see it. By all means, please let us know what you want to see. So we're really excited to be bringing you this, and we hope that tonight worked a little better than last week. So we've got just under 2 minutes for that to go as well. And we've got, I just don't know where to start. Do I have pesto first with something, or do I just go straight to the stroganoff? So we will show you that stroganoff when it's ready to come out, but it's bubbling away in there. It's a shame that you get that condensation, isn't it? But let's see if you can get into the, maybe up here. We just hope we don't fog the camera up. but hopefully you can see in there how that's beautifully bubbling away. Our mushrooms are still nice and hot, well, quartered and halved, but there's lots of things going on in there. It looks so beautifully creamy and ready to go. I'll pop that back on. And yeah, hopefully you'll love this. The other great thing with our bowl is it actually will keep things hot for a good couple of hours. So if suddenly you're thinking, okay, I'm going to whip some pasta up or I'm going to whip up some rice, you know that everything in there is going to be staying nice and hot. You could also pop everything in just as you're running out the door, knowing that when it's at the end of its 20 minutes it will stop, but again it'll keep things nice and warm for you in there. And that's the beauty too of the double lined bowl, and also with our induction heating, that it gets it heat hot really quickly and it doesn't take that time to actually heat the bowl up. It's doing that really quickly for you. So we're nearly there. I might just grab out a plate. Now I actually might have some mashed potato I prepared. But you can add steamed vegetables to this, you can add anything that you want. And I'm just going to do the mashed potato in there. Got some beautiful veggies steamed as an option for you as well. Okay, and then, now like I did say last week, for anyone that was watching last week, I do like to let things sit for a little while after I finish cooking. But, you know, tonight, obviously I don't want to hold you up while I wait for things to settle. But you will find with the stroganoff, it is piping hot. If you want to come in and have a little look at how it's looking, do you want to come in and have a little look at our beautiful stroganoff? So you can see that in there, looks absolutely delicious. And the other thing too is I always like to try the meat just to make sure that it is at you know, it's cooked the way I like it, because some of you might like it cooked a little more, but I do find that this actually turns out beautifully. Beautiful and tender, melts in the mouth. But you can see we've got our beautiful mushrooms, our meat has stayed nice and whole, which is the way we cut it. And there we have it. Bon appetit. Hope you enjoy it. So, before you go, because I know that you're all interested and everyone loves a bit of competition, I'm going to ask you, what is the heat technology that we use in the Cook Expert to actually heat our food and cook our food? So I'll leave that with you. Everyone that answers that's on there tonight will get a chance to go into the draw to actually win one of our cookbooks. Again, it won't be the Cook Expert cookbook that comes with the machine, it'll be something else that we've got. But I hope you all enjoyed tonight. Please give us lots of feedback, let us know what you want to see in the future. Talk to us about, you know, the kind of other products that you'd like to see, or, you know, recipes you'd like us to cook. And, you know, I hope you all love it. So thank you and bye for now.